Hi, welcome to DramaMeans. We're talking about the 2024 Japanese reality dating show, The Boyfriend, and the 2024 Korean reality dating show, His Man Season 3. Today, drama means romance, drama means recovering from trauma, and drama means finding that someone that will sit there and listen to you. So today we have a special guest from Drama Kween with a K. Alexis, thanks for joining me. We did this His Man Season 2 last year, and now we're going to do it for this year.
We did.
And this is like 1 week before DramaMeans 1 year anniversary.
Oh, yeah, anniversary show.
I know. So I'm very excited.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And we have gabbed, and I can't wait to get into it and really dig into the two shows because they
Yeah.
were both airing simultaneously, and I was excited every week.
Me too. And I feel so bad because I'm like hounding you and texting you like crazy, like, have you seen it? Have you seen this episode? I want to talk about this. And you're like, give me until the weekend.
I literally was up one of the nights waiting for it to drop at midnight, and when it didn't, I was sitting there like, I stayed up just to watch it.
Oh no.
Just to watch it. And then I had to go to sleep and come back from work. And I was like, every time you texted, I was like, I'm just going to ignore it for now. I need to watch it as soon as I get home. I have to get it in. And then, like, even this week, like, for recording purposes, I was out at a conference and I'm like, I promise I will be ready for Saturday. I'm at a work conference. I will be ready for Saturday. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited.
I didn't want to give too much. Like when I texted you, I wasn't like, hey, this happened and this happened and this happened. I was really trying to like hold it all in.
Can I be honest? I was happy that I watched it second so that I could come to you and be like, okay, I'm ready. Here's everything. I'm in 36 seconds and oh my gosh.
It was so fun because I know we watch similar things, but a lot of
Mhm.
times, like, the scheduling is so off. But with this, it's like, oh, we're watching at the same time.
Exact same time. Like, I know there were a couple of times where I'm texting you and I'm like, I know she knows what's going to happen, but I'm going to text it live in the moment. Like, I can't believe he said that. Oh my gosh. Ah. Even the voice notes, like I apologize, Drama Means listeners. The voice notes that I've sent to her have probably been a little bit wild. I'll tone it back just a touch, but
No,
I'm
I totally
excited.
enjoy it because I'm literally like listening to your voice notes and I'm like giggling, right? And also like just and then all these like all the things I want to talk about come into like my brain. I'm like, and then I reply to like each and every. So
Oh,
I actually, before we did the show, I went back and had to like read and listen to our like texts and stuff.
oh yeah.
I'm like, what did we talk about? Oh, I need to write that. I need to like remember to talk about that later.
No. So if your viewers aren't familiar, we'll bring up the fact that this is an LGBTQAI plus show, primarily focused on bisexual and homosexual men in both series. Well, I'm not sure about in His Man. I know they are gay for the most part, but I believe in Boyfriend they do have gay and bisexual men, and I
I
was
think
excited.
I think Sungjin might have mentioned that he's bi.
Okay.
I can't be positive, so don't quote me on it, but I think in the beginning he might have mentioned that he is.
Which again is rare, especially because I know in the previous seasons it was mostly, and I'm thinking back to Charming from season one of His Man, saying that he had went on a reality show to date women, but he was always gay, and I was like, but it's okay to be bi.
I know.
And so for them to
But
openly say it on this series, I was like, okay, I'm excited.
yeah.
Give me all the
But
love.
we have our, whatever with Charming because he seems a little
We're
just go with whatever to get popular.
I'm here for you, but this time we are going to go into the Japanese and the Korean shows, which both have different structures that have pros and cons.
Yeah. So it's so weird because the Japanese one, it's a month and a half where they're living together, right? Although they like, I kind of like it because in terms of they have their daily lives and they're
Mhm.
allowed to just like go off and like go to work and like do their own things, go meet with their own friends, which it feels like it doesn't feel like they're just kidnapped.
To me, that structure allows you to build a, not saying that other relationships aren't authentic, but you have a chance to really put a seed and let it grow.
Yes. Yes. And it does like feel like it feels more sincere in how they develop their friendship
Hmm.
and then romance. But also the problem with that is that they cut so much out of it
The
that
editing
you
was
don't
horrible.
the audience, I know the editing was really bad, but the audience does not get to like see the bond. And like,
Hmm.
I'm like, 1 minute they're like strangers, and the next minute they're like really close friends. I'm like, how did they get close? And you just don't see that, and it just feels so rushed.
I agree. I think, and then to kind of like side part of that, they have commentators on the boyfriend, and I don't know if the commentators are seeing more of the material, because sometimes they'll comment something and I'm like, well, how did they get to that conclusion? And I don't know if they're getting more than what we're getting as viewers. I did appreciate that it was a full series, that it was like a full 16 episodes. But it really did feel like it could have gone for like, I would have watched 22.
Was it? I thought it was, wait, where the boyfriend has 10 episodes.
Oh, is it 10?
Yeah.
Okay. It should have gone longer. They could have
It
spread it
should
out.
have gone longer.
I
I
would have watched
wanted to see
more.
more bonding. The fact that like Taehyun like never was barely ever on the show. They
I've
cut
heard
him
some
out
things about
so
why,
much.
but it definitely felt like he was not a part of the main cast.
Yeah. And I know he had mentioned like, oh, in the beginning he kind of struggled with like understanding the language because
Hmm.
Japanese isn't his first language.
Hmm.
But also like the show did not do him any like
I,
favors.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I sent you a voice note and was like, "Who is this guy?"
You did. I'm like, he was the first one to be introduced on the show.
Because he popped up, but it had been so. I was so invested in so many other relationships that, because of his lack of appearance, or the lack of the way they edited it, the lack of his appearance on the show based on editing, I really, for a second, was like, wait, is this? Did I miss somebody? And then after that, I was like, I was counting people, like, okay, well, everybody's here. What's why aren't they showing him? Where's his love line? Because everybody else's love line was shown.
I think, what did he say? He was interested in Dai at first, but I
Hmm.
thought he was also interested in Kazuto. But they didn't show any like real interaction.
Everybody was interested in Kazuto. Let me just say that. I was even interested. I mean, I have my bias, which we'll probably get into a little further down. And I know it's hard to say bias because they're not idols, they're, actual human beings, but I had my heart drawn to one particular. And then Kazuto was like my second play, but
I
yeah.
didn't know. I thought Kazuto was your number one.
I, uh,
No. Okay.
he was for like the first two episodes, yes. And then after a little bit of while, I kind of fell into Die.
Oh, okay. Okay. I can see that.
Yeah. But also, that was who was presented to me the most. And that's who I was like, oh, okay, I like somebody that's willing to try. Drag
Yeah.
it out of me just a touch.
So for me, I was first if I cuz I always imagine no matter what I'm watching, I always imagine myself in the situation,
Hmm.
right? So like I'm like part of the reality show now. And so for me, I would have been into Ryota, which is
Really?
yeah, which is interesting because well, okay, looks, attraction, definitely Shun. Like his whole look is like my type, right? But the minute like I got to, knowing
Hmm.
people's person, and usually I always try to like stay as objective as I can. like, because I always want to know people's personalities before,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't want to judge people by their looks. So usually I don't fall for anyone until I like know personality. And it was Ryota because he was like mild mannered. He was a
Mm-hmm.
really good listener. He was a really good like friend to people, and especially when Shun and like Dai were like the whole thing
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning. And Ryota was interested in Shun, but he just sat there and
Mm-hmm.
like, was played the friend role, right? Not that I'm
Exactly.
saying like he's, waiting out his prey kind of thing, but like, did you know how I always feel like friend zone for whatever reason is like, oh, they're just biding their time to like
Yeah.
get, which I always like have issues with. But yeah, so Ryota at first, and then he started being very like not assertive even when he was into somebody, or and then he would just wait until someone made a move, and then he's like, oh, let me piggyback on that. I couldn't do that. Like, that was annoying to me.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So then later on it was Alan for me.
I would love to go and hang out with Alan, have a drink,
I
go to a
agree. Like,
party.
he would be the best friend. Like, I every time I've seen him, like, he's like level-headed, right? So he's like a big personality.
Except for except for that first overnight. Let's be honest.
Yes, that's true. That's true. The
That
the
that first
the thing
overnight was
is,
I was uncomfortable. But also I don't know the time frame.
I would be uncomfortable too if I were Kazuto, right? But
Yes.
also I totally understand, like, you're hyped up. You think the guy has just chosen you, like matched you on this date. And seemingly the beginning of the dates went well, right? So I could see him thinking that, maybe things will go further or whatever, or he's just like, you know, not as conservative as people in Japan,
Mhm, mhm.
because he's like from Brazil, so I
No,
feel
his
like,
father's from Brazil, but he grew up in Japan.
oh, but well, yes, but he also says he identifies more with Brazil.
True.
So anyway, personality wise, I'm like, I find, like, yes, he went too far. He should have asked, like, are you comfortable? And also like kind of reading the room and reading Kazuto, because like his personality is very like reserved. Like, you should already know before the situation that
Yeah.
like, he probably wouldn't be so into a lot of skinship. But I just really liked, and I definitely like him more like, oh, I wish he was my friend,
Hmm. Hmm.
because he seems very like understanding. He wants to give you advice, but he doesn't want to give you bad advice,
Yeah.
which is what I really like about it. Is there are times when like Dai will go to him and talk about it, and like, what do you think? And he's like, I can't answer that because I'm not Shun.
Yeah.
And I like that because it's not like, oh, he's so, like, how there's the yes men in your friend circle, and they
Absolutely.
just want you to feel better, and they'll tell you anything you want to hear just like to lift you up, which I'm very happy for. But also sometimes you need to like know, you
Let's
need
yeah.
to, the sincerity. That's why at the end it was definitely Alan for me.
The other side of all of this is, and I don't want to forget about my crew on his man,
That's true.
is his man's structure was a week, 2 weeks long, if a week long.
It
Sometimes I
was
heard,
it was literally 8 days.
okay, because I was like, sometimes I heard them say a couple of days, and then I was like, the structure threw me off because they had some intense feelings off of day one.
Yeah.
And I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I was definitely rooting for a throuple to just go ahead and come out. And it
Yes.
didn't it didn't happen. I think I said that quite a few times, like, just let it be a throuple. And then at the last episode, I was like, well, they could be a quadruple. Let them be a quadruple. Just like my
The thing
BL
was,
Love in the Air. They could just all be together. Like, just make it a
that's
happy family.
true. That's true. The thing for me is I would have been fine with them as a throuple in the beginning.
True. Same.
But, right? But as I like watch the show, first of all, for me, Jisung is like moody, like sulky all the time. Like anytime something goes a little off that's not what he wants, he goes into his room and he sulks about it and he's
He should not
moody.
have had a single room.
I know. I
I
know.
think he should have been thrown in at least in a double, possibly in that four-way room. So that's the
Yeah.
other thing about the structure too. Okay, so one, the timing was weird. Two, I did not like the fact that once again, his man can't afford enough beds. This
Yeah.
happened in season one, where they were all like four of them in the basement, all laid up together. It's slightly uncomfortable.
It's really uncomfortable and it's like I don't it feels like they don't treat their cast as like humans, right? It's just
Mhm.
their little pets or their like tool to like make something happen, right? But like at least in the boyfriend, they have each I mean everyone has their own single room, but it's equal.
Mhm.
And they
Mhm.
like they're
Mhm.
treated as like human beings, like it's no one's gonna want to share a bed with a stranger. And then like in the first part, Yongjun and Myungkyun, like they shared a
Mhm.
bed together
Mhm. Mhm.
before they like switched up the rooms. And it's like
Exactly.
that's well,
Woo!
part of me was like, is this gonna rekindle this?
Until we found out what happened, yeah, there was a lot. His man this season had a lot of unsaid conversations that had a lot of innuendo in the background and left a lot of confusion and a lot of guessing until it hit the fan. And when it hit the fan, it sprayed across the whole pool yard. And
Yeah,
baby, I was watching with popcorn and tea and a shot and was just ready. And then the next day, when it kind of everything clarified again, because that was a lot of back and forth, and I was confused and yelling at the TV when Myungkyun and and Yeonjun were having their discussion about how they knew each other because I could see both sides.
yeah. And they dragged it out a lot. I was like, so they showed like in a clip for the
Hmm.
next episode, right? The little preview of them fighting. And then they didn't show it in the next episode.
It was like
And I was
two
like,
episodes later.
yeah. And I was like, what? Like, what? Like, why? This is so badly done. And they definitely went cheap because in the first season, they had like, I guess more of a but it's weird to me that the first season has more budget than like after it's gotten popular and they've like
Hmm.
they've lowered the budget because they have way like they do way less, like they don't go on like outings as much.
Hmm.
They'll sign up for a class here and there, but like the only big outing they had was like that group date when they did like the waters.
The water. Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
before in
also,
season one they went everywhere.
I'm also glad they stopped using the embarrassing phone situation at the end. Season one was so bad.
Oh my,
Um,
yeah.
or as I watched the show, I was like, oh, okay, they're handsome guys, blah. When I started following their Instagrams, oh my God, they are really handsome guys. The TV show does them no justice. Can we just say that? The TV show does neither the boyfriend's crew or his man's team justice. When you actually go to their Instagram, and granted, I know Instagram has filters and all that, they are such gorgeous men. All of them across the board. Because there are a few I was like, oh, okay, um, sure. Like Jason looked old
Oh,
on the
okay.
show, and in real life, he looked really like on his Instagram, he looks ridiculously gorgeous and much younger, much younger. I mean, everybody looked haggard by the end of this series.
It's
They looked like
true.
they had been run through some things. Everybody was crying towards the end, and I'm like, oh my God, I just wanted y'all to be in love. Why is it
I
so dramatic?
know.
It's been a week.
It's well, for one thing with the structure, it's only been like a week, right? But like we see the things over and over again, right?
Hmm.
Like so
Hmm.
in one way there's like the perspective is like Jaesung and Sungmin, right? And
Hmm.
then and then you kind of get like a flip side and you're seeing all the same stuff happening, but now it's in the background and it's like it's like I know you guys don't have enough footage. But I'm like, can we, I don't know. I wish there was like a balance between the Japanese show and the Korean show, and they can like find a better structure.
Combine
So,
the two. Give them the budget and combine the two. Let's do this. Let's get
yes,
everybody, all my gays from
that's
all my nations
true.
together.
That's true. The boyfriend has the Netflix budget, which is, I'm pretty sure Netflix budget is a bit higher, probably not that higher, but like higher than like, what was it? Zip TV?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I think that's.
Something like that. So,
Um. Also, Netflix is gonna do like Terrace House and turn this into a series on a series on a series on a series. I'm here for it. Let's
yeah.
go. But I think they're going to do, I think with the popularity, and I know we both enjoy a wide variety of shows, including LGBTQ plus reality shows, BLs. I think with the popularity that we've seen of Boyfriend and just regular atmosphere, they're going to do multiple seasons.
Yeah, definitely, which I am ready for. I really do like the international dating shows way
Hmm.
more than the
Hmm.
American ones because they're less cutthroat. Even
Hmm.
when Yoongjun and Myungkun had like their fight, and Yoongjun just like laid into Myungkun. Which I felt really bad because like Myungkyun is like sitting there and he's just taking it all, and he rare like. Also, this guy really needs to learn how to speak faster because it drove me nuts.
I don't, okay. I have a friend that I love dearly that is a little on the spectrum. And so sometimes when he interacts with me, he kind of gets like a glazed look over his eyes, and and you kind of have to check back in. Or like, are you following me? And I'm not sure if Myunkin kind of got something going on there. And I mean, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. It's just the way he took some of the emotional response and didn't gauge the emotional response made me kind of pause and go, is it just that he's not social, or is there something a little bit more?
I think
Because
from how it went, right? If we're watching just based off of their, like Youngjun yelling at him, and then him like basically it took him a while to process everything, and then he went into the room and had to talk it out, and that's when his emotions were let out, and then he started crying. Right. And so I think it's one of those where like all this like it's a lot of stimulation. So, and then you just have to sit there and like kind of take it in and process it in your brain, and just like maybe even replay it over and over again before it sinks in.
okay,
So
because
that's what I,
even when he confessed to the partner that he confessed to at the end, there was a little bit of awkward there, and I'm like, hmm,
yeah,
what's going on here? I want a reunion show. Besides them showing us the one couple that broke up, I need a reunion. I need
they
his man
have,
to do a reunion.
they have been doing reunions on YouTube.
Okay, I'm gonna have to
I
go.
think it's in this maybe the Zip channel or something.
Okay.
It's been popping up on my YouTube channel, so I've been some of it's reaction. So I think at the end, there was a kind of reunion party where everyone was there,
Hmm.
and what I've noticed is that Minsun and Myungkyun were not like standing next to each other. They weren't posing next to each other. Um, And so people online are definitely speculating that they've already broken up.
Oh,
I know. And
but
also, so what I noticed also is through their Instagrams is like Sungjin and Hui have been hanging out together a lot.
yes, I like that friendship.
Yeah, me too. But and so most people like Jaesung and Sungmin, they posted a picture of them together and they've been dating for like a year plus now.
Hmm.
And but Myungkyun has not at all posted at all. Like he's posted solo shots, and then there
Yeah,
was one where he went shopping with somebody and then put like a
sticker
tiger
over their
face.
face.
Yeah. So I don't know. Fans are like have so I've been reading some of the comments under his pictures, and fans
Hmm.
are like attacking him, basically saying that just like, oh, he went on the show just to, gain like popularity and try to like further his career
But it
and
still
all
took a
that.
year to come out, so it wasn't
I
like it was
know.
instant.
I
Leave
know.
him alone.
I know. And I was like, and then someone even put, I even doubt that you're even gay. And I was like, shut up. He was dating Young before the show ever happened. So like people need to chill out. But
Like, make me want to fight people. Like, leave them people alone.
I know.
But I will say,
So
Min Sung deserved better.
he does. And honestly, even if they had started dating, I can't imagine. I know this is bad, but like for me at least, like I literally can't listen to him talk because he's so slow. I'm literally like when he talks on the show and I'm like, I needed to put this on 2 times speed, 3 times speed, whatever, because he talks so slow. And I just can't, like, I know, like, I don't doubt that they started trying to date.
I, so I agree. I think that the two of them started, and he probably got sick of his slow talking and just ghosted him.
Oh, he can't be ghosted again. Poor.
And I agree, ghosting people is not right. Drama
It
means
sucks.
listeners, you send a text and say, "Hey, we're not clicking. This is it." That's polite. Don't just give dead air. Like, it's
Yeah,
so rude. And then he's like, Myung Kyun is like, "Oh, I kept sending messages just to touch it." That broke my heart because it's
I
like,
know.
if he wasn't responding to you, at some point you got to stop sending messages. He was like, "Imagine my surprise when I see you here and thinking we could start over." Like, Pudding,
I feel
no.
so bad for him. He clearly is not like he's probably doesn't understand relationships that well. And like I don't know, this is why I probably agree with you with the whole being on the spectrum. Like he's not getting some of the social cues. Um
Because he was just sitting there eating his little popsicle, and Youngjan's like, "We should tell everybody." And he's like, "Tell them why?" It's like, "We should tell everybody." What is there to
oh my
tell?
god, I
And I'm
love
like,
your impression of him.
"What is there to tell? Tell us." And he's like, "You can do what you want." And I'm like, "No, like, help, like, what? Give us what is going on." And then I don't know how many days it actually took for them to have their escalation, but when Youngjun kept getting up and walking out and coming back and sitting down, and he was like anxious, like trying to talk to him, absolutely sent me into a spiral. Because I've been there before where you're like, just get it out. Like, what's going on? I don't like you like that. Maybe you thought it was something else and it wasn't. Maybe we had a little flirtation, a little touchy touch. Might have had a good little time 1 or 2 times, but it isn't that deep, the relationship, because now I see where Myung was coming from of, well, I thought we liked each other. I thought we were into each other. And now it's all of a sudden it's like I'm still trying to touch in with you and you're seeing it and you're reading it. And I'm just thinking maybe we're both too busy. But the shade of him putting in that note that you are not who you're pretending to be, oh, chef's kiss. He knew what he was doing. He's shady for that. He knew.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is that conversation with them um really should have happened way earlier, like in their private lives before this ever happened. But I'm like, this is why closure is so important. And I know in this day and age, everyone gets ghosted, but no one feels good about it. So we
Right.
should also know that we shouldn't ghost other people.
Let's talk about your least favorite, Sungmin.
I don't understand his appeal. I really like from day one. I text you and I was like, I don't understand his appeal. Why are people so into him? Like, he okay. I don't want to say mean things though.
I think I think he was a safe choice because he was comfortable to be around. I think he's very moldable in a sense, where he can kind of be a chameleon and kind of be what you need, whether that's the older person in the relationship or the younger one in the relationship, because on both of those relationships, he played that role.
Mm-hmm.
And he was somebody that, in my sense, was just comfortable. He wasn't a challenge until the throuple thing started happening. It was just like where whoever he was with, he was having a good time. And I think that more so than anything else was his charm factor.
Okay.
That's about as good as I got, because again, when I went back and went through the Instagram, I'm like, he was kind of cute, but he's also kind of like a big puppy dog.
Yeah. So like for me, like looks wise,
Mm.
on his man, it was Hui for me.
Oh, I was young
From
then.
beginning, from day one, it's the smile. It's the smile. Every time he has that smile, I'm like, oh yeah.
Look, I could see it, but for me, he was kind of young. He felt young to me. I
He
was
is.
definitely a part of the toxic crew, and I definitely like Young Jun. I love a tiny
I
king,
know.
and I love a little toxicity here and there. But he also spoke his mind. He just seemed like he really wanted, like, I want love, but I also want to have a good time. I feel bad that his first date with Hanmin was the ring shot, because it even comes up at the end where it's like, yeah, I kind of felt like I had to be tied to you because we did this activity and it was such an intimate activity.
See, the thing is, he said that, but literally day one before the ring shop, he was already following Youngjun around. He had already zeroed in on Youngjun. And that's why Youngjun even like was like, "Oh, this guy's following me," and then that's what triggered him to be like, "Oh, I think I might like him too," kind of thing. Because sometimes when people just show you that like affection or like attention, you kind of start like, "Oh, maybe I like that person too," not really asking yourself, "Do you really like him, or you just like the attention they're giving you?"
Yeah, Hanmin was not my favorite.
Also, I
He was
again,
not.
I don't want to say mean things. Ugh.
He was not my favorite. I could
No,
have been
I'm not.
more. And his little cricket smile drove me nuts because I just wanted to even it out.
Okay, if we're
Sorry,
gonna be
listeners.
mean,
That was
if,
mean of me, because you can't help your physical features, and I know that very well. But it just, I don't know. I didn't see the attraction for him from multiple people.
yeah,
Um, he was kind of a dud.
yes, I agree. Personality wise, he was, in my opinion, boring. And then visual wise, he's not for me. The only thing I think he has for him is apparently his body, which I'm also like, you know. So for
Shoulder
me, he
shrug.
was a dud. And also, like, Youngjun is a good looking guy. I think he could do better in terms of looks. I don't know about personality. Like, yes, he's straightforward, which is good. He seems like easy to get along with, but
Hmm.
I don't know. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, but for me, I would rather be in the Hui and Sungjin camp as friends. Like, I would love to be friends with like
They were so cute.
they're cute and they're like relaxed and they're just like natural and sincere, which for me, like relationships, friendships, whatever, like human bond, I always look for sincerity.
Yeah. Towards the end, I was rooting, but also felt a little uncomfortable when Sungjin admitted that he kind of had a thing for Hui. I was
Yeah.
kind of like, I wish they would have, again, they were only there. Here's the frustration. They were only there for 7, 8 days. So he didn't have an opportunity to explore that. If they would have been in the house for a month, I definitely see other relationships that could have occurred. And that's the
Yes.
other frustration, is that there were so many relationships that if they were given another 3 or 4 days, would have waited themselves out. They would have found a way to either end or just, hey, we're just gonna be friends, Because like I said, that Myungkyun and Minsun relationship, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it at
See,
all.
this is the problem with the show with his man, and it wasn't like this in season 1 or 2, where it was like they were just kind of, season 1 and 2, they were getting to know each other. In season 3, it felt like, oh, I'm gonna pick my partner and we're all gonna have a match.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it was like almost like a goal for them
Yeah.
to just match with anybody. It doesn't really matter if, it's like if it feels like the other person likes me, then I'm going to match with them and then we'll be able to leave the show as a match, rather than, oh, do we really like this person, you know like, do I want to pursue it more, like kind of that feeling.
Hmm.
Where I'm starting to feel like his Man 3 is not sincere in terms of reality dating show.
Yeah.
It's just a way to get some popularity, because there will be fans that'll like you and support you. Although I think maybe the reason why the show didn't do an update on Jisung and Songmin was that they started getting a lot of hate.
Oh, why?
I don't really know, but I know that all the rest of the cast members were on their social media, and like they would post like, we're all friends, don't
Hmm.
attack anybody else, like,
Hmm.
we're all good guys, which means like, people are attacking some of the other less liked ones, and I'm assuming it's Jisung and Songmin.
I can see Sungmin probably got a lot of hate when he walked over to when he was washing the dishes and told him, "Yeah, if we get a chance today, I'm gonna go on a date with Jason, just so you know,"
Yeah,
because that pissed me off. Like, don't come over here while you know I'm actively in love with you and be like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm gonna go on a date with the other one." Unless we're a
yeah,
throuple. If we're not a throuple, don't do me like that. And then I can see that Jason was getting a lot of hate because of the way he treated and he was like, "I didn't even write that. We all
yeah,
knew that it was Sungjin, but he didn't." And it's like, so you hate this young boy, this young man, because he likes the same person that you like, and he can't control it any more than you can control it.
yeah,
And you're looking at him crazy and leaving rooms when he walks into rooms. Like, that broke my heart because he was genuinely like, I just wanted to be your friend. And we both are interested in the same man. And here you go treating me like trash.
yeah, exactly. And like the thing is, we saw in season 2, with Junsong and your guy. I forgot your guy's name. I forgot.
Girl, season 2 done slipped all the way out my mind.
Yeah. But anyway, but they also kind of had a love triangle, but they were adults about it. They were able to like treat each other, like understand. Especially for me, I feel like Junsong was like very like, I'm not gonna pressure Sungho. I'm going to, let him, know that I'm here, but also, there's like, you can have room to explore and like see who you like and things like that. And those two, Junsong and I forgot his name. I should have looked it up beforehand, but they were still friends, and they were able to like all like have a mature friendship, even though they like the same person, which is Sungho. But in this one, where like Jisung, who is the oldest of everybody and should be more mature, he was really petty. And like, considering he also was like, oh, I also would have a thing for Hui. If Songmin wasn't here, I would have a thing for Hui. But then, because Hui also likes Songmin, I'm gonna treat him not that good. Yeah, so Sunwoo and Junsung were able to, you know, like the same person, but also be friends with each other and still be able to like talk to each other. And they would joke here and there, like little like stabs at each other, but it was like all in fun and not like in a vindictive, mean way. Whereas Jesung towards Hui, it was like, oh, it was hostile.
Oh yeah, he definitely made it known that he did not like him.
Yeah,
And that was so mean.
yeah,
Um, so we're into couples. I'm sure I've sent you some videos, some text about how Shun drove me crazy. I definitely love Kazuto. Kazuto. Kazuto? Um,
Kazuto.
I loved him. Great. But at some point, and it was possibly because they were showing him so much, Dai ended up being like one of my tops. And Shun drove me crazy because he was like, "Don't touch me. Um, you can't talk to anybody. Anytime somebody looked at his man, he over here acting a fool and is like, I can't control nobody want to work in a coffee shop with me.
I know. I
Want
know.
to shake him.
But it was like, okay, first of all, you decided not to go with Di to work on the coffee truck. That's you, right? All you. You need to take responsibility for your own actions. But then you get mad that Dai goes with Ikuto. Sorry, it's
No,
Ikuo.
I was mad. Ikuo shot his shot in the beginning when they went to the picnic. Wasn't mad. Great. But then you switched over and started liking somebody else and then want to come back to me and ruin when you see I got a relationship in the works.
Yeah.
No, that's not okay.
No, everyone in the world that has watched The Boyfriend loves Dai and Shun. Well, I don't know if everybody, but I okay. I'm for learning from a relationship. But
Okay.
I just also, and the thing is, I know Ryan's not joining us today, but like before I did this episode, he's like, just remember that to be nice.
Oh, Ryan, let us be mean.
I know. And then also to understand that I have not gone through the situations that these
Mhm.
men have gone through, and to be open-minded on how they deal with situations and the way their culture is and all that stuff. I have to keep that in mind. For me, I feel like Shun is not ready for a relationship.
I agree.
I think he needs to work on himself. I think he needs to find himself. I think he needs to work through his trauma
Yeah.
before he is, because once you're in a relationship, and I'm thinking like when you start a relationship, you have to think about endgame, right? And meaning like maybe marriage or, like a long time relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in a relationship like that, it's not just you anymore. You have to account for another person. You
Mm-hmm.
guys have to share your thoughts with each other. It's living together, in which they do live together now. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's like, a lot better now that they're like the cameras are off of them. But like even in the interview, the reunion interview, Dai's like, we fight every day.
Which is not, I see this when he said that, I said two things. When he said he lived with his family and his family thought he was a little crazy, I said, this is going to end in a toxic way. And I
Yeah.
mean, like a full out Instagram back and forth, can't believe you treated me this way type of drama. And two, when he said that their fight about the sashimi was so bad they had to change the rug,
Okay. Well, yes. So that means it got kind of like violent in terms of like throwing
knocking stuff
things or
over.
what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's not healthy. That's that relationship you have when you're like between 16 and like 22 and you don't know how to communicate well.
Yeah.
And
I
granted, they're
agree.
23.
I am going to say that I have had a really terrible fight over two fights. One over a donut and the second fight over French fries. I'm not going to lie. My food is very important to me, but
I'm sure you weren't like
one,
knocking
because
stuff over.
no, I don't really do that. That's like when I get mad, I stop talking. And I'm
Mhm.
like very like, okay, I need to leave the room kind of situation. So it was like 2 a.m. at a Walmart, right? Bear with me. I was in my 20s, like early 20s. So I like the immaturity was
Mhm.
still very there. And it was also not really just about the donut, but I wanted to buy the donut. And he was like, oh, but it's 2 a.m. Do you really need a donut? Which translated in my head, you're fat, you shouldn't be eating a donut.
My brain went to the
Right?
same thing. I'm fat. I can't have it. What if I want to save it for the morning so I don't have to go back out? Let me
But
eat the
also, it
donut.
was like stale at Walmart, so it looked really gross too. I didn't account for that part. I was just very angry because I didn't get my donut, and I stormed out of Walmart. And it like I didn't talk to him for like a day and a half, which was like okay,
Like a
over
whole
a donut.
donut.
The
True.
French fries, I was so mad
Mhm.
because we went to the Habit and I wanted my own French fries. And he was like, oh, I only want a few French fries. It doesn't make sense for me to get my own. Can I just share with you? And I was like, no, you get your own and then I can have the rest of yours so that I can have more French fries. So it was the biggest fight ever, by the way. Like, I don't know if we've ever had a bigger fight than over a donut and French fries.
Donut
So
and
I understand food, except for the fact that he bought sashimi. I mean, I guess he thought, I'm assuming, he bought sashimi and it was for himself. And Dai was like, oh, he bought sashimi, we should share it.
Baby should have bought more than 4 pieces first off.
Exactly.
Because what is 4 pieces doing but putting the pot? That ain't food. Unless they were going out later. I mean,
Yeah,
I've never bought 4 pieces of sashimi and been satisfied ever.
I know. I agree.
Secondly, I don't know if he was mad because he was like, Di told him to quit eating it. And so maybe he was like, you calling me fat? I only had 1 piece. This other piece is mine. And maybe that could have been the trigger. But whatever it is, their communication is off. And I have to remind myself that they are early 20s
Yeah.
because probably one of my most toxic relationships was early 20s. And it really is that not knowing how to communicate and to some extent trying to be always right when that's not always the case.
Yeah.
And being able to step back and see it from a different perspective, sometimes even when you really, really don't want to. Um, so their relationship makes me nervous. And then also, even though Alan and Katsuto left together, I didn't see that working out because they're at two different speeds. And even the host of the show said it like one is pushing the gas pedal and the other is cruising through the school zone. And
Yeah.
just very, very different speeds of how things are going. I think they would be great friends, but I also think Kazuko was waiting for Usta.
Usak, I agree. I so agree. I really think, okay, so like, first of all, I love the fact that he's so unattainable, right? He's just this person that you admire from a far away, right? And then Usak is like, I'm into him. I'm like, we want the unattainable to be attained by you, Kazuto.
You're
By
the
you.
one. You're the one.
Yes.
The one everybody in the house wanted, which was also driving me crazy because he seems so chill. Like he seems like he would just be everyone's friend, like maybe flirt a little bit, but you would never know who he was dating kind of friend. I would be friends. Well, first, I'm a chef, but I would definitely be friends with him. Like,
Oh my
I
god, can
wouldn't,
you imagine all the free food?
girl, I bet you he would have made more than 4 pieces of sashimi.
I know. Even if it's not free, like very discounted food. I would love that.
Side note, he looked so good to me when he had on the hat with the tan vest towards the end. He had on, I want to say it might have been a Dodgers hat, but it wasn't. It was a dark color hat. He had on a tan vest and a black shirt. It's like the last episode or two.
I do not remember this.
Chef Kiss. He looked so amazing. And by that point, I was definitely, I'm a toucher. So all the touching that Dai was doing to Shun, I was like, yeah, we don't have to do anything. Just let me put my feet on you. Just put your hand on my shoulder while we're sitting here. Like, love language, touch. It doesn't have to be sexual or anything. Just touch me. Sit next to me and just put your hip next to my hip. That's when I was like, okay, yeah. Yeah, that rubbing lotion on his back and rubbing his feet. Yeah, all of that. That hug, that deep, lingering hug, and that Katsuko walks by his frame and doesn't even see them. Yes. Give me a deep hug, you tiny, lovely little man. Just put me in your
That's
pocket.
funny because I think I don't know, I mean, it is a month and a half, so they've just gotten so used to them as already a couple, I
Mhm.
think. And I'm sure they were doing like couple things like, outside of what we saw.
They needed
And
more activities.
they did. They didn't have it. It was just the coffee truck. They didn't like, well, did they go somewhere?
They
A
did
group of them?
a golf court, a golf, what is it, go-kart racing.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was weird.
When he was like, I don't have a prize I want. I want to fight you. Why are you like this?
I know. It was like, well, his whole goal was not letting Ikuto win so that he doesn't get to go on a date with Dai. Not letting Dai win because Dai would have picked to go on a date with him, right? But after that, he doesn't want anything. And I'm like, well, you even said it. You're like, you could have wished for like a grand meal for
Everybody.
everybody. Like, that's like the non-selfish thing, right? Like, you don't have to just be selfish. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's so selfish. And
Yeah.
I know he can learn, but also like he needs to take time to learn, right? And he's just going to show all of his selfishness towards Dai. That's why I don't think that their relationship will last. I don't think that they'll, I mean, you can, okay, like, so I forgot if it was psychology or sociology, but my teacher was saying like love is like tennis match,
Hmm.
right? The game can only keep on going when like both parties hit the ball and they rally.
Yeah.
But when it's just one-sided, there's no game anymore. There's no relationship.
Yeah.
So like Dai can like, take it for so long, and they've been together what, like a year or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Or maybe a few months. I
No,
don't
no, because
know.
it ended in June, I want to say. So a few months.
Okay. But I thought he said, wait, so but
Because he moved in with
Shun
his
lived
parents for
with,
a month.
oh, was it a month? I thought it was 3 months.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't know. I can't remember. Forgive me for my
Yeah.
misinformation. I don't recall at this point.
However long that they've been together, like, you really need to like work on relationships, especially now that they're living together, right? So it's just like, if it's always going to be selfishness, it it gets tiring.
It's not gonna last. It's gonna be so toxic.
Yeah. But also Dai is like, oh, I want to, like, the reason why he was so mad that Ikuto went and talked to Shun,
Talk about it.
right?
Talk about it.
Be- okay. So, because he had this whole process in his head how he's gonna do it, which is a type of manipulation.
True.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's like, he has this tactic, and he's like, I need to put him in this place so he realizes that I'm not like I won't always be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could lose me. But to me, that's such like playing games. That like, okay, you have to like play with his emotions and let him dwell on it before you're willing to even talk about the situation with him, so that he feels like he's going to lose you, and then you can easily swoop in. And like, it just, to me, I'm like, okay guys, like, you're young, I understand playing games, like people play games, but in the long term, playing games for a relationship is like so toxic. It's like, it's gonna turn back and like bite you in the ass.
Yeah. That's why they're young and they don't need to be together. But when he turned to him and said, "Why did you do that?" Girl, my heart fell down into my toes. I said, "Ooh, that was for real. That was a
Yeah,
you messed up." And when he started crying, I was like, "Yeah, I have been that friend that thought I was helping and said something I probably shouldn't have said, and the friend turned to be like, "Why would you do that?" And the gut wrenching, like, "Can't take it back now. I'm so sorry. I'm so
yeah.
yeah,
It's sad. Like,
definitely
I also didn't think it was Ikuto's business, but the fact that he did think he was helping, and it's just like, it came from, well, I don't know if it really truly came from a, you know,
because like 2 days later, he's like, "Yeah, and I'm in love with you. I
yeah,
don't think you. I think Shun doesn't deserve you because of the way he treats you. I would treat you better, which I do believe he will treat him better. But you can't do that to my boyfriend and think that I'm gonna want you to be my next boyfriend. You
yeah,
can't the pile of sticks he's building and think that I want to build a house with you. That's not
yeah,
okay. You can't. No, you got to work out a better foundation. And I don't know how long Ikuto was in the house. Like timeline wise, I wish they would have done better with like helping us to grasp the timeline because I don't know if he was there for 2 weeks or if he was there for a month. That's not even playing a friend. That's you trying to push up on my man. Can I talk about my uncle that I love so dearly and I
yes,
wish he would have found love is Ginsei. He was the first I followed on Instagram. Ginsei has my heart in a very special way. Gensei, if you ever come across this and you come to Texas, I got you, boo. I got you. We can go and hit all the clubs. Let's go. He was so genuine from giving the gifts to choosing who he wanted to go with. And even though he had the initial letter wrong, it was adorable that he was like,
It's
oh, somebody wrote
cute.
me. I don't even know. I
I
can't even remember who sent him the original letter. It was probably Taeyong,
I actually don't remember either.
who they don't ever show. Bless his heart. But yeah, Gensei was I was rooting for you. And I was
I
so sad
was
that he left
too.
early. I wanted him to stay.
Yeah, cuz okay, like I know that from the beginning Ryota wasn't like that into him. And but he like definitely treats him as a friend, and like he like Ryota was never like what's the word? Like he was never mean to him. He was like
Hmm.
sincere in their friendship, right?
Hmm.
But I feel like Ryota can be influenced. Because the whole time, like Ryota didn't realize Gensei was into him.
Yeah,
He thought Gensei was truly just being his friend, right?
yeah.
And I feel like it may take, and this is totally my delulu. Like
Girl, they in
I feel
Taiwan
like
together.
if they developed, like they spent a lot of time together, as we said, like we saw them on Instagram recently, and Ryota went to Taiwan to visit Gensei. Like, come on, it can happen still.
Screaming on the inside. Happiness. The
When
whole
I
time.
saw that, when I saw that, which was literally this morning, I was like, oh my god, like some friendships, especially new friendships, I feel
Hmm.
like can develop into
Hmm.
romance. And I would love to see that because I think they actually work really well together. They have like the same like temperament and personality. They like similar things. And then Ryota makes him Gensei his like little mocha every morning. That's like, come on.
I thought that was our special thing. He out here
Oh,
giving
I
coffees
know.
to other people.
He's like, I thought this was Gensei's specialty. But like he didn't know that, right? Like you never said like Ryota did not know that. But now maybe he will be it maybe he won't ever make a mocha for anyone else again.
Girl, look, I haven't
Now
deep
that he
dived,
knows.
but I got a feeling like Gensei is a Pisces because we be lofty, all in our heads, just dreaming away. And part of me is like, yeah, he built that whole relationship off of a letter that wasn't even his writing, but go for it, Gunkle. I look, Gensei, I love you. I'm rooting for you. And then when he said at the reunion that a lot of American people, he has a very, I can see the appeal to American guys. He's very soft spoken, very just even killed, not with a whole lot of the back and forth. He's going to have a successful relationship with whenever that comes. And I
Y-
hope he's ready because it's going to come.
Yeah. Do you think he said that because he has someone in his mind?
Girl, it's
Like
probably Taeyong.
maybe there's an American that's pursuing him right now and he's like open to it.
If they didn't say they were friends, I would have thought he was dating Taeyong.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying.
That's true. Yeah.
Because they were posting pictures of each other on each other's Instagrams and quirky faces on the piano. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait, are you guys did I miss something? And he's like, no, we're just best friends. Best friends. Mm-hmm. Best friends till you lay down in that bed together and just oops, one hand lands somewhere wrong. You be kissing in the bed like Di and Sean. That kiss. Can we talk about it? The kiss that rocked
Yes.
the Netflix. Everybody on Netflix was like, what is this? I think that's where most of my straight friends that don't watch BL were like, I came across a show in the clip that had these guys kissing. Are you watching the show? Absolutely. What do you want to know? Because from the moment he laid on that couch and said, I think I'm going to bed, that was the cue. What are you still sitting down for? He said he was ready to go to bed. That means get up, let's go to bed. And then they laying into two separate beds. And I honestly thought it was going to end there. I did not expect Shun to be the one to get up and go over to Dave's bed.
Which I like. I like that he's finally making the initiative instead of die all the time.
Ooh, I don't know where those hands were under those covers. We can all
I know.
imagine. It didn't seem like they went low enough.
No, I
I'm
think he
thinking
was rubbing his
abs.
stomach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was definitely thinking abs, and then he pulled his hands back like, "Let me not do this," because then Sean gonna be mad and pull away, and I gonna be laying there like, well. But when Sean gave him that Nala from Lion King look, everybody know what that look was.
Yes.
And he went
So
in, he said, "No, no, no, I'm not gonna do this," and he grabbed him by the back of the neck and choked him down, hollered, screamed, "Oh my God, I've been waiting for this. Where has it been?" Yes. Yeah, that was a kiss of kisses.
that
And
this kiss is exactly why. So Ryan always says, like, when he watches like TV kisses, and no matter what, like, gender or type of couple, he always feels like it's weird because it's that fake kissing where you're like,
mhm.
right? Even like the really like good ones that we've seen, like, you know, Kin Porsche, or like oh, what's the one with Nunu, Cutie Pie, you know, where they're like really kissing, but it's still like fake kissing. And then you see Shun and Dai kiss, and you're like, that's what a real kiss looks like.
Girl, because they had to do it in one take. It didn't have to get it from 15 angles.
Yeah.
Because, what?
And it's just like, it was real, it was good. And so, okay, I want to ask you, the next day when they go back to the house with
Yes.
everybody, and in the subs, I think the first time they showed it in the subs, it was like, oh, we slept in the same bed. But then in the second time is we slept together.
I think if they would have gave us about 12 more seconds, they slept together.
Yeah. So
That
that
glow,
night
that
they
glow,
had sex
I'm,
with the cameras on.
I'm sure there was something in the contract that disclosed up to a certain level of intimacy will not be shown for your respect. Because I'm
Uh-huh.
sure they was bumping uglies.
Okay.
Somebody was getting something. Yes. Yes. That kiss, that look, ain't no, maybe it wasn't full on intercourse. Something was getting touched. There was no way they were ending it at that kiss. I watched that kiss and was like, God, 10 more seconds, we all would have been exposed. Yes, I think they slept together, and then you can kind of see when Di kind of taps him under the table, like kind of like gives him a little like like shut up. Don't be so shut up. But Sean wanted to tell everybody like, y'all, yeah, it was worth it. Whatever happened was happening.
Yeah.
Also, rewind. Um, Di and Alan, that hug when Alan first showed up, and he said something like, "I like people with small booties" or something. He said something. First off, Alan, I love you. Don't change your personality. But he said something real like sexual innuendo or something like towards the first hug, and I was like, What's going on with the two of y'all? I know y'all said y'all friends, but are y'all friends like Young Jun
Yeah.
and Min Kyun?
And then they said they had sex.
Oh, did they? When he was in the
Yeah.
sauna, huh?
Yeah, it was in the
Okay.
sauna, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we had." I don't know if it was a one night stand, because like, again, die. Come on,
Ugh.
you DM random people on Instagram, and then you meet and have sex like that.
That might be all they can do. Japan's a
Well,
little bit conservative.
yeah, that's true. And that's what Ryan was like warning me, like, hey, you know, like in their culture, especially
Hmm.
in such a conservative culture in Japan, like it's not that easy to meet other people who are like, you
Out.
know, LGBT. Yeah. So I was like, okay, yes, I guess that's how you do it. So I do think that Usak is like kind of the perfect person for Kazuto, because other than the fact that he is like super famous, I feel like everyone knows him, right? So he must be like a huge like you know, name in the like
Mhm.
gay community, in the go-go world, you know. And but gosh, like their personalities, he's like, Usak is like also, you know, reserved in like his own life, and I feel like they would make such a good couple. That's like my so, so my three ships that I want something to happen And I know, like, okay, so yes, Usopp and Kazuto.
I agree.
I want something to happen between them. I want a development, some kind of like, let us know. I know they're like so private in their real lives that we're probably not going to ever see if they ever.
Wait, there, you know how like the Instagram sleuth, there were pictures where Usopp and Kazuto had the same picture but different angles. Where like
Really?
say there's a McDonald's arch in the background. It's one side of the McDonald's and then the other one's the other side of the McDonald's. So there were a couple of people sleuthing saying that they thought that they were together. And that was another reason why I was so surprised before the last episode that Alan and Katsuko were said to be when they left the house together, not at the reunion.
Yeah.
Because there were people that had lined up pictures, and I'll send them to you, where they're side by side and they're like, oh, this is the same area at the same time.
Oh my God, that would make my day. I
I'm
know.
rooting for them. I am rooting for them because I agree. I think they have similar wavelength thought process,
Yes.
relaxed kind of vibe.
Yeah, I agree. So that's my first ship. And then my second is I really want Ryota and Gensei to like develop because like I feel like I really do like because you know when you're like oblivious to someone liking you, you
Hmm.
just don't even think about it, right? But then when you finally have that little hint of, oh, that person likes me, I feel like Ryota can channel that and like maybe start feeling the feels, you know?
I
So,
feel you, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Genze is gonna get his American love drama going. He's gonna
which
fall in
I'm
love,
also happy to watch.
and and Ryota is gonna be like, "That's the one that got away."
Yeah,
I honestly feel that he's gonna miss his opportunity, and he's
yeah,
gonna look back and be like, "If only I would have known."
yeah. But also, like, take some initiative. Come on.
Girl, not until he get his American lover is he gonna pop up at their house and be like, "I just wanted to tell you, I've been in love with you for the last 2 years, and I just want to say this before your wedding day." He is that guy that
He
on the
is,
wedding day
isn't he?
at your
Ugh,
house, like, "I just wanted to tell you that I've always been in love with you. Like, get off my front step." The absolute frustration. I'm telling.
yes.
When it happens, we are gonna cackle about this because that's what he's gonna do.
Yeah, we called it. Well, Alexis called it.
Okay, who's your third? Who's your third?
My third is I know it's not going to happen because they're such good friends, but Hui and Sungjin.
I think they might.
You do?
I agree.
They
I
do
think
hang out a lot together.
the more time you're in proximity, the more time that ember starts to flicker, it's gonna burn. And I think right now they're still playing it like they're friends. They're gonna have a late night, one's too drunk and spends the night. Again, I'm a Pisces, y'all. I apologize in advance. Lofty. They're gonna have a drunk night. One's gonna spend the night, and he's gonna be like, "You don't have to sleep on the couch. Just come sleep in the bed." And they're gonna cuddle, and we're gonna get Instagram photos of them with matching rings and coffee cups. It's happening.
I would love to see this. And the thing is, it's not the first time they've shared a bed together. They
Oh,
like, right?
when they
Right?
were when they were upstairs and they were both
Yes.
heartbroken and he crying and he was like, "I'm gonna just sit here." That was the moment that solidified it for me. When
Yes.
he was like, "Just leave me alone," and he walked out and he closed that door and came back in, I said, "Oh, you see it."
Yes. I love that because okay, the whole time when Hui was going through the whole Songmin thing and he was upset and he was like in tears, like Sungjin was there. He was patting his back. He was like a really good friend. And at that point, Sungjin did not have feelings for Hui yet.
I
Not
agree.
at all. And so, but that moment when Sungjin just broke down and Hui is like not leaving his side, I'm like, this is it. This is the guy you need. This is the relationship you want. This is the person. Like, say what you will about Dai and like always putting in the effort to work with Shun and like, Hui is it. Hui is it. That
When
is,
that last episode when he said, oh, what did he say to Sungmin? And it was something like, are you still in love, or are you still confused about your feelings for Hui? And he was like, no. I was like, you need to, I was hoping Sungjin would have been like, what about me? That's it. That's all he would have had to say. Because it's like he's constantly being stabbed in the chest. And it's unfair that he has such an undying love for this man that at a certain point, you don't have respect for me.
Yeah.
You don't have to
I,
go and tell me how you moving with the mistress, or you don't have to go and tell me how you moving with your side chick. That's too much. And I know you're thinking that you're doing it to show me respect, but it's disrespectful. And then I have somebody here when they were even in the pool and they were laid out in the pool together. Sungjin and Hui were laid out in the pool together. I was like, this is what you need.
yeah. So
Somebody.
my favorites are when friendships turn into, but like not like we've been friends for like 20 years and then all of a sudden we're gonna be together, like not those, but I'm all for like starting as friends, or like having, or like starting a relationship, but the relationship is very like friend like,
Hmm.
very friendly, because I think like being lovers with your best friend, or your lover is your best friend, is like the most satisfying. It's just
I
it,
agree.
you know and so I want them together so bad. And it's just, the thing is, I didn't, and I'm glad it didn't happen this way, because to me that would have been more fake. Is that I'm kind of glad that they didn't like leave the house together.
Hmm.
Like they didn't like match, because it's too short of a time. If you decided you had strong feelings about one person, and then it took like a night or two for you to like switch to somebody else,
Hmm.
like it just didn't feel like that. It didn't feel right. But they've had time now, to like talk more and get to know each other with like maybe romance, in the forefront like that.
I
So
I definitely follow their Instagram, and they've
me
had
too.
a little video where he was like dancing in the background and he almost fell into the bush, and I was like, oh, you guys are cute. Um, I hope that that develops because I do like that relationship. Um, and I agree with you. I'm glad that they didn't leave the house together, but it broke my heart when he left the message.
Yeah, I agree.
And we left that one last message to Sungmin, and I was like, it's not worth it. If nothing else, I wish he would have left it to Seungjin and just been like, I really appreciate you being there for me through all of this.
Yeah,
And it didn't have to be a romantic inclination, just the simple like, you are my friend and you've had my back, and I appreciate that more than you will know. Which I think now, again, by insta stalking them, I can see that that's kind of like where they're at, their friends and stuff. But I'm here for that to develop. I think it might have a little bit of development in the background because they do spend a good amount of time together, or they
yeah,
have put up a couple of videos and stuff. And I think they are actively working to make their friendship continue to be friends.
yeah. But I do think like in the boyfriend, because Kazuto was off at his restaurant and working
Hmm. Hmm.
for such a long period of time, and that's the whole reason why him and Usopp kind of missed each other, because when Usopp wanted to pick Kazuto wasn't there, and then Usopp had to pick somebody else, and it was just like, oh yeah, they kept missing each other. And then by the time like Usopp is like, I have to leave, but I want to let you know, and it's just like Kazuto never got that chance to like bond with Usopp and like develop anything, even though probably he might would have wanted that. So
And that was problematic for their relationship, but I could see how that would have been benefited like somebody like a Handman, where he didn't have an opportunity to go on multiple dates with people because he was stuck on one person for, 4 days. And that's, you went on one other date with the one that was already in a throuple
yeah,
and really didn't have a chance to spread your wings. So I think combining the two into give us better editing and give us a longer time frame in single houses so people aren't sleeping in beds together or single rooms so they can
yeah,
really have a chance to decompress and have private moments, because that's the other thing that I kind of miss. Boyfriend, there were these little moments of like, hey, just a little bit. Granted, nobody was able to go into anybody else's room, but there were these little moments of like, hey, let's have a private moment. versus his man,
Yeah.
everybody on the couch, everybody together all the time.
Yeah. And even when someone like pulls another person to the side and like let's talk, then like everyone else kind of like wanders in and then like wanders out and like kind of looks, and it's just like people need their privacy.
Yeah, it was frustrating. That part was frustrating, but I will watch, like I said, I will continue to watch every season they put up, and I hope they put up like 3 more seasons of Boyfriend because I'm here for it. I'm thinking of
I
one called
think they
Girlfriend because I would watch that.
Yes. I'm like waiting for the GL, the
Girl. Yeah, because women have a different level of communication. There's a lot of nonverbal cues in women's relationships that I'm here for. Get that side
yeah.
eye across the room, like I know that bitch didn't just walk in here. Yes, I would lose my mind. Give me some his man crew, boyfriend crew, give us girlfriend and her woman.
Yes.
Oh, I would
Cuz
be here
I
for it.
Yes, and then we'll have another episode as we will gab and gab about it. Okay, I have some questions.
All right.
Um Although we kind of touched upon this already. When Kazuto and Alan decided to leave the house together, were
I
you surprised?
I wasn't surprised, but I think they did it so they wouldn't leave the house alone.
I was partially surprised because I didn't think Kazuto had any feelings for Alan.
I
Even
agree.
though it was really weird because in the beginning it felt like Kazuto saying he had a crush on somebody and it was Alan. But
I think he was definitely talking about Usopp, and he, Alan and Usopp are friends. And, I think he might have just been like, well, I don't want to leave the house alone. I don't want you to be embarrassed leaving the house alone. Let's just leave together.
okay.
Because the
Yeah,
reunion
I
also felt weird. Like something ended, like when
they
they were giving weird vibes at yeah.
there was like almost a wall between them.
Like not even the friendship vibe. You know how everybody else kind of seemed like, oh, okay, yeah, we buddy. The two of them sitting next together was uncomfortable. And
Yes.
Alan's comfortable with everybody. Even when other people were talking, he kind of blushed a little bit and kind of give a giggle. And him and Katsuko sitting next to each other, just, yeah, the vibe was weird. So, no,
Yeah.
I was surprised, but not. I was surprised that they actually went through with it, but I was not surprised because I didn't think he would leave the house alone after
Yeah.
everybody in the house being in love with him.
I don't know. I wish it was just leaving the house alone would have felt better
True, because then
than
him and
them
Usopp
leaving together.
could have went all the way.
But I was so surprised that Myungkyun was like, "Can we count this as day one?"
I don't know who fed him that script, but it was not. And I'm even more mad that Minsun wasn't like, nah, we could keep dating. But I think, okay, so all jokes aside, I think that Minsun has a desire to be in a relationship. And I think the only person he made a quasi connection with was Minkyun. Part of me is like, okay, part of it's genuine, but the other side of me is like, they don't actually like each other. They aren't really in it for one another. He just didn't want to be single. He didn't want to leave alone. And the only person he could really hold on to was the one that everybody was getting into it because they was trying to avoid him in the drama.
I think that Minsun was attracted to Myungkyun from the beginning. Like it was
Hmm.
I want you physically. I like you because of how you look.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I know this is really mean of me, but I can't imagine anyone having any kind of like romantic relationship with Myungkyun because I feel like he's very difficult to read because he doesn't show his emotions at all on his
Hmm.
face. He like everything's hidden and he never says what he's thinking right off the bat. And it feels like it would be so tiring to have to pull out anything he's thinking at all times.
Girl, did you see
So
where he pushed those tears out at the end? He went,
I know. I agree. I was like, oh, this is why your career as an actor isn't going well. Like instead of Instead of going on this reality show, you should take more acting lessons.
It was frustrating, and I agree with you 100%. Nobody wants to be in a relationship, but they always have to drag something out of you. Even in to some extent, Myungkin was almost pacifying in a way where he's like, "Oh yeah, well, you know, you can make mistakes and you can like." It's like, come on, at some point you got to be like, "Are you 6 or are you grown?" I like
Yeah.
dinosaurs. I want to be with you. Let's awkwardly hold hands and take pictures. Like it was just everything was just so like, speed it
Yeah.
up, come on.
Yes.
And that may be his personality. I don't know what Yun Sung's past relationships are like. They didn't really discuss a lot of it. And maybe he's just used to being the person that's always there. But to some point, it's like, put your big boy pants on. You're fine. You're smart. You seem like you've got a good head on your shoulders. You deserve somebody that's gonna like love you down and be
Yeah.
enthusiastic about it. And not saying that, but Min Kim was enthusiastic in his own way. It just wasn't something that we're used to. And I don't want to discourage him or people that have similar vibes or tropes because they deserve love too. Um, just not with the two of us who need it sped up a little bit. Just saying.
I know.
Sorry. Sorry, Ryan, I'm being mean.
And I totally saw the Hanmin and Youngjun thing, like for sure.
I didn't think he was going to actually leave with him.
Yeah. I you know, secretly I was thinking like for like to make waves, not even like a sincere thing, but I thought that Myungkyun and Youngjun were gonna like match at the
Girl,
end.
let me tell you, when they had that whole back and forth and we gonna be cool, I was like, oh, they still got a little something, little embers burning over here.
Well, it was kind of weird because Myungkyun kept trying to go in and for hugs. Not one single hug. It's hug and then hug and then hug and then hug. I'm like, he's not over Youngjun. He's just not.
But then
No
also
matter how you force it, he's not over him.
part of me is like, is he masking? Is he trying to like everybody's hugging, let's everybody hug? And then he kept getting close to him and then he kept like trying to have a conversation with him and Youngjun was one wording him. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
it's so sad that everybody's leaving. Yep.
I know. That part is sad. And the thing is, I don't know if you saw Instagram. I forgot who posted it, but there is a picture of them together after and they've been hanging out.
No,
Myungkyun and Youngjun.
no, I only saw his like light blonde hair picture.
Yes. Youngjun is like in with white hair. Like
No, but
it's
Myungkyun also, or yeah, Myungkyun has like a light brown.
oh yeah, light brown,
Yeah,
yes.
that was
But
the only thing I saw.
they were on the street somewhere, I don't know, and they were like together. Yeah. So it's clear, very clear that Myungkyun still has a thing for Youngjun. Um, who
I agree.
knows? Like, whatever.
I think after their discussion and the clear like kind of misunderstanding. Okay, so not even the discussion at the pool, but the next day when he went out in pajamas, because that bothered me. He was in those pajama tops. But the next day when they went out and they were like at the like waterfront or whatever in that coffee shop and they were having a full conversation, I think it was very clear that Myungkyun still had feelings and that he didn't know how to navigate through them because it ended so abruptly. And I would not be surprised if they had another fling or two. I don't necessarily see them becoming a couple, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had a fling here and there.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, during the interview, when Youngjun was like, I asked if he thinks that, like, something will still come out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said no, he doesn't have feelings for him anymore. But his hands were shaking
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and his voice was shaky. And then Youngjun was like, it seems like he's just saying that,
Yeah, like he was embarrassed to
right?
admit it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if Youngjun sees it, I don't know. Probably it's not a good idea, but like, who knows how it is with like, if things are kind of dry out in the world, maybe Youngjun will let Myungkyun back in. Who
I'm
knows?
telling you, I would not be surprised to have a fling here and there, couple drinks. It's comfortable. I think
Yeah.
people
I
have,
mean, they already know each other.
I have been there, done that. It's comfortable. We already know each other. Don't have to, do the whole awkward. It's like, come over, have a drink, have dinner.
So my rating for the boyfriend, and you can use whatever rating system you want.
Mm-hmm,
Uh, for me, my rating for the boyfriend is onboard karaoke. I'm having fun watching it. There were some hiccups, some out of tune, moments, but for the most part, it's onboard karaoke for me. As for his man three, stepping out to get fresh air. Like, I needed some moments to just kind of like, ugh, this is like definitely some eye rolly instances. But
mm-hmm.
yeah.
I could see that. Definitely the boyfriend for me is probably an 8 out of 10. I would definitely watch again. I would be excited to watch a new season. His Man 3, I wanted I wanted more. And it may be just because I really wanted a throuple to happen. I'm stuck on a throuple. Um, and I need some fine tuning for that. So I'll probably give it a 4 out of 10. I would definitely recommend season 2 a lot stronger than season 3.
Yes. Yes,
Because season
definitely.
3 just felt kind of like it dragged a little bit, and then it didn't conclude. Like, we didn't get the follow-up for everybody like I was expecting. It's like, if you
Yes.
do this whole staging follow-up for 2 couples, why not do it for the couples that actually left together as well?
Yeah. Also,
So
and the thing is, for me, other than the Sungjin and Hui friendship bond, I didn't see anyone like, season one, like you saw true friendships
mhm,
form.
mhm,
And season two, a true relationship form, but also friendships,
yeah,
right? In this one, none of the friendships feel real other than Hui and Sungjin.
yeah,
And I know Jaesung and Sungmin are still dating, but it just doesn't that didn't feel real. And the friendships didn't feel real. It just felt very like, overproduced and, fake.
they have to step up their game because Korean reality shows, Korean TV shows are such a production and can be done exceptionally well that now we're going to hold you accountable.
Yeah,
And
I
like I said,
agree.
the Japanese production of Boyfriend definitely reminds me of Terrace House.
So this week I have two recommendations. One is called Love Deadline, which is a Japanese dating show. I actually sent you this. It's on Netflix, so it's easy to access. But it's solely like the emphasis is on marriage. So it's hetero couples, and they are looking to date to marry, basically. But the structure of it is interesting because at any given moment, someone can be the production team chooses someone to leave the show. And then the only way, so like if they want to make a connection, if someone's interested in them, they have to go and propose to them. So check that out. And then on the LGBTQIA plus side, there is a Taiwanese dating show called Boys Like Boys, which was a 2023 production, so it was last year, but it just recently won Best Dating Show, I think it was, in Asia. I'm not sure. Some
Okay.
kind of an award. And that's it for us. We will see you next week. Thanks for listening.